David was a man who had it all: wealth, success, a penthouse overlooking the city. But his heart felt empty. Each day was a blur of meetings, deadlines, and the pursuit of more money, more power, more emptiness. He had forgotten the simple joys of life, the feel of the sun on his face, the sound of laughter, the smell of rain on dry earth. His life was a sterile, air-conditioned box. One evening, driving home after a particularly grueling day, David felt a pang of familiar emptiness. He glanced out the window at the city lights, cold and distant. He had reached the top, but the view wasn't what he expected. Just then, as if on cue, his sleek, expensive car sputtered and died. Stranded on the side of the road, he felt a surge of anger, followed by a wave of weary resignation. His phone was dead. No tow trucks in sight. He noticed a small park across the street, bathed in the warm glow of streetlights. A figure moved amidst the trees. David headed toward it, hoping to find a phone or someone who could help. As he drew closer, he saw an old man tending to a small garden. The man, Thomas, was hunched over, his hands working the soil with the ease of long practice. He looked up as David approached, his eyes crinkled in a warm smile. "Evening," Thomas greeted, his voice raspy but kind. "Car trouble," David explained his predicament. Thomas listened patiently, nodding in understanding. "Phone's dead," David finished, feeling a wave of self-pity. "I'm stuck," Thomas chuckled, a low rumble. "Stuck you may be," he said, "but sometimes being stuck is what you need." Thomas's words struck a chord in David. "What do you mean?" he asked, intrigued. Thomas gestured toward the garden. "Life's like this garden, son. You plant seeds, you nurture them, you wait." He picked up a handful of rich, dark soil. "It takes time, patience. You can't rush these things." David looked at the garden, really seeing it for the first time. Rows of vegetables neatly planted, bursting with life. Flowers in vibrant hues, attracting bees and butterflies. It was a stark contrast to the concrete jungle he called his life. He spent the next hour talking to Thomas, listening as the old man shared his wisdom about the importance of slowing down, of appreciating the simple things, of finding joy in the everyday miracles of nature. David found himself drawn to the garden. He helped Thomas water the plants, feeling the cool water on his skin. He listened to the buzzing of insects, the chirping of crickets, the rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze. He had forgotten how soothing these sounds were, how grounding the feel of the earth beneath his feet. He realized how disconnected he had become from the natural world, from the rhythm of life itself. "Everything has its season," Thomas said, pointing to a bare patch of earth. "Even when it seems like nothing's happening, there's growth beneath the surface. Life finds a way." David thought about his own life, all hustle and no stillness. He had been so busy chasing the future that he had forgotten to live in the present. Section 5. A garden of his own. The tow truck arrived, but David found himself lingering. He thanked Thomas for the conversation, for the unexpected solace. The old man smiled, his eyes twinkling. "Come back any time," he said. "And David," he added, "it's never too late to plant your own garden." David couldn't shake off Thomas's words. He found himself driving past the park every day, sometimes stopping to chat with the old gardener. He started noticing the trees lining his own street, the patches of grass struggling to grow between cracks in the sidewalk. He began to feel a yearning for something more, something real. He decided to create a small garden on his balcony. He bought pots, soil, seeds. He planted herbs, tomatoes, a single sunflower seed. Section 6. The fruits of patience. First, nothing happened. Days turned into weeks. David checked the pots obsessively, looking for signs of life. He felt a familiar impatience rising within him, the need for immediate results. Then, one morning, he noticed a tiny green shoot emerging from the soil. Then another and another. His sunflower seed had sprouted. A wave of pure joy washed over him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in years. He tended to his little garden with care, nurturing the seedlings, watching them grow. He learned to be patient, to appreciate the slow, steady progress of nature. He found a sense of peace in the quiet moments he spent on his balcony, surrounded by his plants. Section 7. Beyond the boardroom. David's transformation didn't stop at his balcony. He started making changes in other areas of his life. He cut back on his hours at work, delegating tasks he had once micromanaged. He made time for things he had neglected. He started reading again, losing himself in stories. He took long walks in the park, breathing in the fresh air. He reconnected with old friends, rediscovering the importance of human connection. He even started cooking, savoring the flavors of fresh herbs and vegetables from his own garden. He realized that true wealth wasn't measured in money or possessions, but in the richness of experiences and relationships. Section 8. The gift of time. He continued to visit Thomas, learning not just about gardening, but about life. They talked about everything and nothing, sharing stories and laughter. David realized that the old man had more wisdom in his weathered hands than any CEO he had ever met. One day, David arrived at the park to find an empty bench where Thomas usually sat. He learned that the old gardener had passed away peacefully in his sleep. David felt a pang of sadness, but also a deep sense of gratitude. He had received a priceless gift from the old man, the gift of time. Time to slow down, time to appreciate, time to truly live. Section 9. The gardener's legacy. David continued to tend to his own garden and to Thomas's memory. He found solace in the rhythm of the seasons, the cycle of growth and decay, life and renewal. He had learned that true success wasn't about climbing the corporate ladder, but about cultivating a life filled with meaning and purpose. A life rooted in simplicity, connection, and the quiet wisdom of a gardener's heart. He knew that Thomas's legacy would live on, not just in the thriving garden, but in the seeds of wisdom he had planted in the heart of a busy businessman who had forgotten how to live.